Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, something very unusual. Okay, we're going to take a look at Marvel Premiere number 50 from 1979, 79, featuring Alice Cooper in his first comic book appearance. Yes, Alice Cooper, the rock and roller. Okay, and as I said, this is Marvel Premiere number 50, 1979. Featuring Alice Cooper, From the Inside. It's based on the Warner Brothers album From the Inside by Alice Cooper. And this is plotted by Alice Cooper, Jim Salicrup, and Roger Stern, with script by Ed Hannigan. That's a lot of people doing the writing. With pencils by Tom Sutton. And inks by Terry Austin, with Marie Severin doing the colors. And we're very familiar with Tom Sutton because of all of the Charlton horror comics that he worked on. But he did a lot at Marvel as well. And this is Alice Cooper's first jump into the pages of a comic book. And he's later appeared in rock and roll comics from Revolutionary Comics. And he appeared in Bart Simpson's Treehouse of Horror, number 10, from Bongo. And I guess he has a book from Blue Water Comics, which I have never heard of. So here we go. And this is, of course, a Tom Sutton cover as well. Tom Sutton was one of the comics artists, better artists at doing the more humorous styles and stylization. Well, and still keeping a relatively realistic version or view on this stuff. And this is featuring the Doctor, and the Doctor is named Dr. Fingerroth. Ooh. And also has Nurse Rosetta. And they are all playing here. And I guess this is partially inspired by the stage production from his concerts for this album. And having the stylization on his name here, the creepy kind of thing. Okay, I have to wonder. A lot of people, most people out there in the comic book world and stuff, been around for a while, are at least familiar or know that Alice Cooper had a comic and have probably seen this cover before. But I have to wonder, and I'd ask you out there, how many of you have actually seen the interior or actually read this comic book? I'll bet it's probably not that many, even among the collectors. And I have no idea. I don't think it even has. Well, it might in some circles, but for overall, it probably doesn't have that much collectible value. But it might. I don't know. I've never looked it up, and I don't really care. So here it is. Stan Lee presents Alice Cooper, From the Inside, and it's splash page right here with Alice in all his made up glory, about to exit through the window with a torn up and tied up sheet as a rope, and someone comes in the door. So, trying to escape, Mr. Cooper? I can't turn my back on you for a minute. You know what happens to naughty boys, don't you? Nurse Rosetta. He's terrified of her. But he is caught in the act, and the big muscular orderlies, they grab him, and they follow the the naughty nurse. No, the lovely Nurse Rosetta, and they're stopped on the way by what's his name? Jackknife Johnny. But yes, this is in a mental institution. Yes, and Jackknife Johnny's got a toy machine gun, and he was going to back up Alice, but he gets distracted by Nurse Rosetta, and they haul him off. He gets to see the obviously crazy Dr. Fingeroff, and he's outside, and they're taking him to the quiet room. And look here, I noticed here as they're hauling him to the doorway, it has the stage lighting, like from footlights. They toss him into the quiet room in the dark padded cell, and then this is where he is. Oh, sob slam, and where he is. Then he tells us, the readers, the story of how he got there. How he's Alice Cooper performing on stage, and here he is with his snake. I guess she's a python, Veronica, but he's been drinking a little too much lately, and he goes to a mental health center of some kind to say he just kind of wants to get. He's exhausted, drug out, and he wants to go someplace to dry out and get get some rest and relaxation for us. He goes to this mental health clinic, and they said, "Well, sit right over there until we call you." And he sits next to this other really very conventional square type guy. But it just so happens that guy, his name is Alex Cooper. Oh, the cops come and grab him. Of course, these are the guys from Car 54. Where are you? And they grab him and the snake, and they haul him off, and he's getting all his makeup scrubbed off of him. The snake is tossed out the back, and they dump him in the ice water for the icy shock treatment, and then they give him electroshock therapy. Zap, zap, zap. Really screws him up. So while he's practically lobotomized there, and they cut his hair, put him in a wheelchair, and wheel him out into the common room with the other mental patients, and all kinds. And there's Nurse Rosetta dragging this monk guy with him, Jerome. He's a monk, dragging him along behind her. She grabs Alice right out of the wheelchair, while the doctor is trying to make time with one of the other patients, who is some kind of starlet, or at least thinks she is. And the monk, Jerome, he's glomming onto Nurse's feet because he's got a foot fetish, and says, "Does Jerome like Nurse Rosetta?" "Oh, yes, Rosetta, you stone me. You have such clean white shoes." Oh, what? Ads. Every couple of pages are ads. And she tosses him into the shower. This is when Alice meets Jackknife Johnny. He is a war veteran and not doing too well upstairs. And I have a lot of gags, a lot of verbal gags in here, some sight gags. I even has the Hulk here on the set, and here is in the shower with Jerome is Alley Oop from the comic strips, and back here when they were scrubbing up Alice, I guess on the next page, there was the ads again. The Submariner was in the shower with him, So here he is getting to know the other patients, and but his hair is starting to go wild and gradually growing back. And here he's just all meeting these others. He sees the one guy engaged in art therapy. He bumps into him and sees that it's, and I bet that's a self-caricature of Tom Sutton himself. I don't know. I'm just guessing. And he sees a snake in the painting. And he goes, Veronica, brings him out of his lobotomized state. His hair has grown back and grown wild, and he grabs the artist's paints, and he daubs himself, restoring his Alice Cooper makeup. And this is when he goes wild, throws off his robe, goes rushing through there, grabs Nurse Rosetta, trying to get out of there, but because he's threatening Nurse Rosetta, Jerome is his downfall. And they get him and toss him in, and he is restrained in a bed. But Nurse Rosetta comes in. Mr. Cooper, still sleeping? Good. Actually, he's awake. This nice sedative will make sure you stay that way. Gives him a pill, but apparently he doesn't swallow it. Poor Alice. You'll sleep better without these. And she unties him. That's when he grabs the sheets, makes a rope, and breaks out the window, slides down, and there, in a box, he finds Veronica. Veronica, you were abandoned and just put in this box and left all alone. He's got Veronica. He sneaks out with Veronica's help. He's over the wall, and he's running through the streets, and he gets to welcome to the town of Millville. He's wandering the streets. And here's a commotion, something going on, and all kinds of little sight gags. It's a fun read, really. And this thing, elect Cooper for governor. It's a political rally for Alex Cooper, the guy who was supposed to have been thrown into the loony bin. And Alex Cooper, he's our man, and all this, and this is very right now. This is right up there with what's going on in the real world today. The guy who should be behind bars, and anyway, the cops spot him, snatch him, and he's back in the funny farm, and he's in the quiet room, and they throw Veronica in there with him, and so you think, and then he's telling his story. So, you think I'm crazy? Well, maybe I am. Or maybe it's you who's crazy. Don't think so? Well then, what are you doing in here with me? We're all crazy. And personally, I don't care. And he's got the crazy eyes right there at the end. Oh, that was fun. That's a fun look at Alice Cooper in the pages of Marvel Premiere number 50 from 1979. And that is a big departure from regular stuff that Marvel was doing at that time, because there was virtually no humor titles at all. But this is a fun departure. I love the Tom Sutton art, the storytelling. And it's probably a little look inside the demented mind of Alice Cooper himself. So let me know in the comments below. Do you have you had this book before? Have you read it? And if not, have you only seen it? Would you now be interested in actually reading it? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics, even the demented ones, are art.